Welcome to Classic Auto Rescues. I'm Tim Johnston and this is the Plymouth Duster. We just pulled this thing out of the woods a couple weeks ago. We had a video go and do really well, lots of attention. People love this car. The number one thing I got was wash the dang thing. So in this video, we're gonna wash it. Now if you haven't seen the first video on this car, this thing is absolutely disgusting. I call it the Plymouth Duster for a reason. So I got this stuff called Totally Awesome Cleaner, and we've used it on interiors in the past, and we're going to use it on the actual car this time to help break down a lot of this grime and nastiness. Now I made the fatal mistake of swiping my card on the machine before actually doing this, so I don't have to miss out on a couple dollars worth of time. You can already see this stuff starting to come off really well. Look at that nastiness. Just soak it all down. I'm using a new POV camera rig. Hopefully it's getting some good shots here. Kind of taking a risk. I have two cameras set up, so if one of them doesn't film, the other one will. You can already see that some of this crap is starting to come off, like right there. It's already coming off. That yellow doesn't look too bad underneath. Hopefully all this nastiness and growth preserved the paint underneath. I doubt it, but a boy can hope, right? And look, it's already starting to come off real nice. Woo, doggy! Look how nasty this is. That's awesome. I might as well just keep pressing the button. I know it's going to take a lot. We've got 10 minutes of time. It's going to be like a $30 car wash. We got this real cool open bay. Let's start on this side. I'll move the camera around with where we're going. Oh my gosh. I barely hit that. Look how beautiful that yellow is. That is beautiful. All right, before we go anymore, look how much this paint has already changed. That is absolutely incredible. Now it looks like this camera here, it cut off a little early. I think the water hit the screen and made it click buttons. But look at that paint. It is already so much stinking better. It didn't get all of it. I'm gonna come back with some of that Totally Awesome cleaner, hit the outside again, then we'll get the engine bay and the interior. No way. Is that a dollar bill? Score! Sitting out here in the grass. You know, it's too bad I don't have a drain plug on this floorboard.
Car
1972 Plymouth Duster.
I didn't know if that was a Duster or what that was.
Yeah, it's a Duster, 72. And it's been parked about 5 miles that way for about 40 years in a field.
You got a 318 in it or
340.
340?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Yep, it was the first wash in like 40 years.
Automatic or?
Yeah, it's automatic. Yep.
Well, if you put some money and fix it up, that will be slick.
I hope so. It had all the growth on it.
The other side,
Yeah.
has it been on par or is it just where the paint come off?
No, it was. He hit a deer at some point, so he had to replace the grill and the hood. That's why they're purple. And then I think his kid hit the fender while he was sitting or something. That would have been pretty purple.
With that black stripe, a little sharp. Yeah, that's be a nice little ride there, buddy.
Yep, we're gonna have to pull the engine. One of the valves is stuck, so we're gonna have to go down to the heads and.
Them are several motors working up there. I mean, everything's right
Yep.
here.
Yep.
I mean,
We had to get the whole interior.
yeah.
That's really the only rust in the floorboards right there. All the others are good. But it had snake skins hanging from the dash and under the seats and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Full of acorns and dead mice and all sorts of things.
Them floorboards ain't hard to change.
Yeah. Yeah, I've already watched videos on it and I think I can do it myself.
Yeah, you can. You don't have to have that done.
Yeah.
yourself.
Take a grinder to it and catch it in.
You got a headliner to that.
It's got the headliner, a little damage right there, but
Hell yeah.
yep. I power washed the whole inside too.
Oh yeah.
It was gross.
for the ride, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yep. I was looking at that. I thought, is that a Duster? What is that car? I had to go over and look at it.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night. I'm using that dollar I found to hopefully buy myself a Sprite. See if we're in stock there. Yes! The fruits of my labor. That is the best thing I've ever tasted. Yep. Yep. Thanks. It's been sitting in a field about 4 miles that way for like 40 years. I just pulled it out last weekend. Yeah, a little work. Yeah. Yes, sir. Have a good night. Dang, I should have handed those people business cards. Well, after all the washing and everything, this car has turned out way better than I thought it would. That yellow's even kind of came back. You can see some spots where there's some runs right there. It really needs a hand wash, I think. A hand wash would get rid of a lot of the streaks and everything, and then I might even try to buff it. And then the inside's pretty much the same. It'll all drain out and everything for in time, but clean it up a little bit. It looks a lot better. I was running out of time and quarters, so I didn't get everything off here. This patina is actually kind of cool looking. You see where it's starting to eat through the paint. Right here, definitely getting down to the metal there. Might even do like one of those Vice Grip Garage clear coats or something. I don't know. That fender also must have been replaced at some point because the line, like you can see where there used to be a stripe, but the stripe's up here. So this probably came off of a different car. And the paint's faded differently. So maybe that was off like a different, like the pale yellow. There's the twist yellow, which is what this car is, and there's like a paler yellow. I don't know what actual color that yellow was, but the little valence thing right down there is kind of the same. This is probably the original fender here. Or I could be wrong. But man, that turned out very good. I'm very happy with how that turned out. Hopefully the videoing was okay. I can't really see what I'm doing because it's on my hat. So I thought I'd try to video in a way that would make it more fun to watch. Thank you guys so much for watching Classic Auto Rescues. If you enjoyed this video, please hit me with a like and subscribe. It'd mean a lot. That's the best way to support the channel right now, unless you want to send me parts. If you see anything that you have that I need, my email is down below. Contact me and I'll figure out a way to get it to me. I also want to thank you guys so much for the support. The first video on this car has almost 90,000 views in the first week. So that's incredible. That's by far the most viewed video on my channel. It's got us up to 2,500 subscribers now, and I could not thank you guys enough. I've been making videos on this channel for over 3 years, and I've been trying to get over the 1,000 subscriber hump for so long, and we just exploded up to 2,500 subscribers. It means so much to me, it really does. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this Classic Auto Rescue. Stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching.